So where does this whole story kick off? Well, you might be surprised to hear it's not at the national level. It all starts in the states. We're seeing a series of absolutely crucial state elections that are basically the warm-up act for a much, much bigger event. These are the regional battlegrounds where the political winds are being tested and they're setting the stage for the main event.
First up, let's take a look at Bihar in 2025. And the results? Whoa, they were decisive. A complete landslide for the National Democratic Alliance, the NDA, which, as you know, is led by the BJP. And what's really key here is that this was the first time the BJP actually became the single largest party in the state assembly. That's a huge deal, a major consolidation of power in a really important northern state.
Okay, now let's head over to the financial capital, Mumbai. In early 2026, the city saw what's being called a saffron sweep in the elections for the BMC, which happens to be India's richest civic body. But look, this wasn't just any win. This moment marked the end of a 20-year era of dominance by the Thackeray family. That is a truly massive political shift.
And then if we go down south to Kerala, the picture gets a whole lot more complicated. Pre-election surveys are showing a really tight three-way race. You've got the Congress-led UDF with a slight edge, but the ruling LDF is right on their heels. And then you have the BJP's NDA polling at almost 19%, which is significant for Kerala. It is a super tense contest that really shows you the state's unique political DNA.
Okay, so these state results are fascinating, right? They tell us a ton about the political mood on the ground. But here's the kicker. All of this, it's all being overshadowed by something way more consequential, a constitutional process that's been lying dormant for decades and is just about to wake up.
And that brings us to the real heart of the matter, India's great electoral redrawing. See, this isn't about winning votes anymore. This is about changing the very map where those votes are cast. It's a process that is set to completely alter the balance of power between India's different regions.
Now, the big word you're going to hear is delimitation. I know, it sounds super technical, but trust me, the idea is actually pretty simple. It's just the process of redrawing the boundaries for every single parliamentary seat in the country. And the whole point is to make sure that each politician represents roughly the same number of people. It's the foundation of that one person, one vote principle.
So you might be asking, why is this all happening now? Well, get this. India's electoral map has basically been frozen in time based on population data from the 1971 census. Yeah, the 1970s. The idea back then was to not penalize states that were doing a good job with family planning. But after 2026, that freeze is over. And for the first time in over 50 years, seats in parliament are going to be reassigned based on today's population.
And this is where the story gets, well, really dramatic. Because over the last half-century, India hasn't grown uniformly. Not at all. Different regions have taken completely different paths when it comes to population growth. And that massive divergence is about to create a huge political divide.
So check this out. The data here tells the whole story. Just look at the total fertility rate. That's basically the average number of children a woman has. In northern states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, it's still pretty high. But then you look south to states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and it's way below the replacement level. And this, right here, this is the demographic engine driving this entire massive political shift.
And this quote just perfectly captures the political firestorm that's brewing. You see, the southern states feel like they did exactly what the national policy asked them to do. They controlled population growth, they boosted development, and now they feel like they're about to be punished for their success. You can just feel the frustration in that quote, can't you?
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the actual numbers. First, let's talk about who stands to gain from all this. Based on the population projections, the northern and central states are poised to be the big winners. Uttar Pradesh could gain a staggering 17 seats, Bihar another 14, Rajasthan 7. This is a massive consolidation of political power in the Hindi heartland.
And of course, for every gainer, there has to be a loser. And that's the other side of this coin. The southern states, plus West Bengal, are projected to lose a really significant number of seats. Tamil Nadu could be down by 9 seats, Kerala by 6. For these states, this isn't just about losing some numbers, it feels like they're losing their voice, their influence on the national stage.
So let's zoom out. What's the bottom line? Well, when you put it all together, the picture is just stark. The northern states are projected to gain a combined 43 seats in parliament. At the same time, the southern states are set to lose 24. This isn't some minor tweak. This is a tectonic shift in India's federal power balance.
So why does all this matter so much?
We're going beyond the numbers now and into some really fundamental questions. What's really at stake here is the very nature of India's federal structure and how it's going to handle what some are calling a profound democratic paradox.
Let's break down these challenges. First up, the federal balance. The power dynamic between the states and the center, and even between the states themselves, is going to be altered dramatically. Then you've got huge economic implications, because parliamentary representation is often tied to how federal money gets divvied up. And finally, we're back to that central paradox. How can a democracy be fair to all its people without punishing states that actually achieved national development goals?
So at the end of the day, you have to understand this is so much more than just a political squabble over a few dozen seats. This is a truly defining constitutional moment. It's a test of India's ability to evolve, to find creative solutions that honor both its democratic ideals and its incredible diversity. What happens next will really determine the country's future as a balanced federation.
And that leaves us with this one huge central question, the one that India is going to have to answer. How does the world's largest democracy reward success without creating deep, lasting division in the process? The answer they find in 2026? Well, that's going to define the nation for generations to come.